Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we'll be taking a look at the latest 4K gaming monitor from BenQ. This is the MOBIUZ EX3210U. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. So this monitor has an impressive spec with a large 32-inch 4K screen with an IPS panel which has a bezel-less design. It supports HDMI 2.1, which is perfect for the next-gen gaming consoles, together with a lightning-fast 1 millisecond response time, and you get 120 Hz refresh rate on a console and 144 Hz on a PC. It has AMD FreeSync Premium Pro support and built-in 2.1 channel true sound speakers by Trivolo, together with a microphone. So we'll be testing this out, doing some gaming on the next-gen gaming consoles and seeing how well it performs on a PC for general usage. So let's begin by opening it up and briefly seeing what you get in the packaging. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. And drop me a comment, let me know what you think of this monitor. In the packaging, you get some documentation and a remote control. You get two power cables, one's for the UK, the other one's for the EU, and it has a cloverleaf connector on there. There's a power adapter too with a DC connection point to connect into the monitor. There's three connectivity cables. One has a HDMI to HDMI connector. Next one has a DisplayPort to DisplayPort connection. And finally, we've got a USB Type A to USB Type B connection. And you'd use this cable to connect your PC to the monitor to allow you to make use of the built-in hub. Then we've got the monitor stand. It comes in two parts. That's the base and that's the arm. There's a plastic plate, allows you to cover the area where you connect in the cables. And finally onto the monitor. It has quite a unique color combination. It's all white at the back and the sides are black. You've got a VESA mount location here. There's RGB lights on these locations. These can be turned on or off, which I'll show later. You've got their MOBIUZ branding over here and a location of their subwoofer. There's a Kensington locking point. Connections wise, you've got a power input. There's two HDMI 2.1 ports supporting 4K at 120 Hz. Then we've got a DisplayPort 1.4 supporting 4K at 144 Hz. There's a headphone jack, USB-A point, USB-B connection point, and this is where you'd connect the cable to connect to your computer. And there's four HDMI 3.0 points for the built-in USB hub. You've got some buttons along the bottom. There's a power button, joystick toggle, and two additional buttons here. Connecting the monitor stand is easy. There's hooks over here on the top. You just place that into position and push down and it locks in. With the feet of the stand, it just slots into position here and you tighten up the screw here at the bottom. And it's as easy as that to attach. The stand can be easily removed just by pressing down this button and lifting it off. The stand has a cable management hole, so you can feed your cables in from the top here and just comes out. With the plastic cover you get, you just plug in your cables and then place this into position and it locks into place. Keeps the cables nice and tidy, so they just come out the hole here. The front of the monitor is black with an almost bezel-less design. It has a BenQ logo on one side and HDRI logo on the other, with a HDR button to change to the profile you want. The monitor stand is metallic and has two orange stripes along the front of it. It looks pretty cool, but personally, I would have preferred if it was just black, as it would have matched the frame of the monitor. The stand has a height adjustment of up to 10 centimeters. The monitor can be tilted -5 degrees down to 15 degrees. And it can be swiveled both left and right up to 15 degrees each way, but you can't rotate from landscape to portrait. But with this type of monitor, you really wouldn't want to do that. You have cable management located at the back to keep your cables nice and tidy. Now I've connected the monitor to my Xbox Series X, and looking in the settings, you can see everything is checked other than Dolby Vision for gaming. And this means that games that support 120 Hz at 4K will be supported by this monitor, and with the added feature of variable refresh rates, or VRR, on the Xbox Series X and S. It's going to give a great gaming experience, which we'll test out later. But remember, on the PlayStation 5, VRR isn't currently supported, but should be available in a future update. Now I've been using this monitor for a couple of weeks now on both my Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and the gaming experience is awesome. Colors are vibrant and very sharp, with the 98% P3 IPS panel with HDRI and the 120 Hz refresh rate. Playing Forza 5 is stunning and gives a smooth and crystal clear gaming experience. Brightness levels are good, but at peak brightness it didn't quite feel like 600 nits to be honest, but still, nevertheless, it was good. Playing Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Extraction, Halo Infinite, and even Fortnite with the lightning fast 1 millisecond response time was great. And this really will give you the edge when gaming compared to a standard TV where the response time is much higher. Gran Turismo Sport, Spider-Man, Demon's Souls, and even Astro's Playroom were incredible on the PlayStation. The colors and contrast levels felt just right with the performance. The picture quality on the 32-inch IPS display is really good and sharp at 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. The screen has an anti-glare coating on it. The side and top bezels are minimal, coming in at just over 0.8 centimeters from the edge. Viewing angles are great, covering 178 degrees both horizontally and vertically, and backlight bleed is minimal, as you can see. The contrast ratio is 1000:1, and it's a HDR 600 monitor, meaning you can get a peak brightness of 600 nits, and this can be lowered to 50 nits to make it more usable in a dark environment. The colors and contrast levels are very good, looking very vibrant. Eye care wise, there's flicker-free technology, low blue light, brightness intelligence plus, color weakness, and e-paper, all aimed at reducing eye strain on your eyes. Being a 32-inch monitor, it doesn't feel too overwhelming on my desk, which is a standard 120 centimeters wide by 60 centimeters deep. It has AMD FreeSync Premium Pro support, and via the DisplayPort 1.4, you can get 144 Hz on a PC, depending on the GPU you have. So in this case, it's perfect on both the PC and the next-gen gaming consoles. The two HDMI ports support HDMI 2.1 at the full bandwidth of 48 gigabits per second, meaning there's no restrictions or limit on the performance. So as an example, I also reviewed another gaming monitor, which is the Gigabyte M32U, and this had a restriction on the HDMI ports limiting the speed to just 24 gigabits per second, and this used 420 chroma subsampling. Now, if you're wondering what this means, well, if you take a look at these three images, 444 is the uncompressed pixels, 422 and 420 contains images that are subsampled to approximate the same color as the 444 image. 422 and 420 requires less bandwidth over HDMI 2.1 to display those images, and 444 is what this monitor uses. And on the Gigabyte M32U, you just get 420. Now, on the Xbox Series X, there's no impact as it has a feature known as DSC, or display stream compression, enabling it to display 4K at 120 Hz without any artifacting or loss of quality. But unfortunately, DSC is not available on the PlayStation 5. So this monitor is ideal for both the next-gen gaming consoles, as there is no restriction on the HDMI ports. The picture quality on both the monitors is really good. The Gigabyte monitor is HDR 400 and BenQ's is HDR 600, meaning it can achieve higher brightness levels, but on a side-by-side comparison, color and contrast level is great on both monitors. But on BenQ, there's more customization available on the HDR mode. Going into color mode, custom, color temperature, you can adjust the color to your exact requirements. There are several color modes to adjust to, and the table on the screen shows the key differences between the two monitors. BenQ's has better sound quality with the added benefit of a built-in subwoofer and comes with a remote, and Gigabyte stand doesn't look as nice in design as BenQ's. Price-wise, BenQ's is a few $100s more expensive. You also have HDMI CEC that allows you to control multiple HDMI connected devices from one remote. The monitor has a number of HDR modes, and here they are running side by side to give you an idea how each one differs. The game HDRI shows darker details and a good balance on brighter scenes, enhances contrast, detail, and boosts color performance. The flesh tone and the red are emphasized on the figures, and the scenarios are rendered in cool colors. With Cinema HDRI, you get more saturated green, blue, and cyan colors that present smoother red and natural skin tones. With the display HDR, it has less detail and overexposure concerns. There's also a light tuner option, and between 0 to +10, the light tuner offers more gradation and increases detail in the darker scenes. And from 0 to -10, objects will be rendered visible with more detail in higher contrast in brighter scenes. At the back, you've got 4 RGB lights, one in each corner. This can be controlled via the OSD menu, allowing you to turn them on, select different static colors, and even cycle between effects. It looks pretty cool and does give some ambient light, but it just gives a very low level of light in each of the corners that reflects off the wall behind. There's no brightness control on this, which is a shame, as it would have been nice to be able to make it brighter. Power button has an LED on it, which can be turned off via the menus. I like this idea as it gives a quick reference point to where the buttons are without touching the monitor. Using the monitor with a PC for your productivity needs needs is great. The large screen gives a great area to work from, allowing you to easily have multiple documents open side by side, and is perfect for video editing. As the monitor has multiple HDMI ports together with speakers, you could also just plug in an Amazon Fire Stick if you didn't want to use your PC or console for streaming services. So perfect in a small bedroom as an all-round monitor covering gaming, productivity and streaming. The OSD is good and you can navigate quite easily around the menus. There's a panel overdrive option and it's called AMA, where you can change the response time. There's also some useful presets and options like contrast enhancement and low blue light mode. There's also a quick menu allowing you to change to the 3 options on the monitor from either standard, game or cinema. You also have scenario mappings where you plug in your console and it self-adjusts to the current video input signal and loads your personalized game settings. You can access different game scenarios quickly by switching the input without wasting time on readjusting settings. I really like the fact they give a remote control. It's nice and compact and gives you quick access to the options on the monitor without messing around with the controls underneath the screen, which I always hate messing around with because 9 out of 10 times I end up clicking the wrong button. The monitor has 2.1 built-in speakers by Trevolo. There's 2 2-watt speakers at the front together with a 5-watt subwoofer at the back. You have 5 sound mode presets for different audio modes, as you can see on the screen. And to be honest, I'm really impressed with the quality of the sound you get. Compared to most monitors out there, this is a huge jump forward, as most monitors generally have very tinny sound with 0 to no bass. The sound does have some depth to it and you can go quite loud with it. It doesn't replace having separate speakers or a headset plugged in, but they are pretty good and they do give an immersive gaming experience. And to give you a rough idea what they sound like, have a listen to this. There's a built-in microphone which is at the front of the monitor. It has AI noise cancelling technology which helps to reduce surrounding noise coming through, a unique private mode, and filters out noise such as keyboard and mouse clicks, together with human voices unrelated to your conversation. Now, to get the microphone working in the OSD, there's an option to turn it on. You can even turn it off from here. Once it's on, there's an indicator just over here on the monitor indicating that the microphone is active. Next, you've got sensitivity levels, and I'm actually doing a voiceover, and the voice you're hearing at the moment is the quality to expect from the microphone on this. If I go on to this option, I've taken the sensitivity now to maximum, and if I come back, polar pattern, so at the moment it's set to private mode. If I go over to omnidirectional, that's what to expect from that one. And then we've got noise cancellation, that's on that. And then you've also got a mute option with this. The microphone has AI noise cancellation technology built in. That's capable of distinguishing human voices and filtering out any surrounding noises, such as typing on a keyboard, mouse clicks, and even noises from a fan, for example. So you heard for yourself, I'm typing away and clicking in the background, and all that sounds literally filtered out, and you can hear my voice quite clearly on here. So excellent to have that. And this works with a PC, a Mac, a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but it doesn't work on an Xbox. So in summary, I'm really impressed with the latest gaming monitor from BenQ. Great performance when gaming at 4K 120Hz with a 1 millisecond response time. And excellent picture quality. It performs really well as a productivity monitor too on your PC, giving you a good amount of space to work off with its 32-inch display. And you could even just plug in an Amazon Fire Stick to use it as a TV. The 2.1 built-in speakers are excellent for a monitor and puts many other monitors to shame. And it's great it comes with a remote for easy access for all the options. Price-wise, it comes in at around $1,000 in the US and £1,000 in the UK, which isn't cheap, but for that money, you're getting a great all-round entertainment monitor, good enough to cover all your needs. Negatives wise, for me, the brightness levels didn't feel like HDR 600, even though it said it was at maximum. And it would have been nice if the LEDs at the back were brighter and covered a bigger area to give more ambient background lighting. But other than that, this is an awesome monitor. So there you have it, you made it to an end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. If you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to be notified of my next release. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.